What is going on, everyone? It is Zach, and today we got news about Rillaboom. Rillaboom will be out from July 28th to July 30th, and then once again through August 4th through August 6th. So Rillaboom is Tera Normal, so not too interesting. But when we look at Rillaboom here, one of its main things is a sound element. Rillaboom is obviously a drummer, so the move Boom Burst is a natural go-to when it comes to the Tera Normal. But here's the thing. Boom Burst is a special attack, and the same thing with Uproar. And Rillaboom is notably more of a physical attacker. So for that reason, I do think the Rillaboom is going to be quiet, where it is going to get a minus speed and a plus special attack. That might bring down one of its defenses, which all in all still makes this pretty good and could be pretty easy here. Now, when it comes to the moves, we're obviously going to see Drum Beating, which is Rillaboom's signature move, and then we're going to see Boom Burst. And for the last two, I think we're going to see Knockoff and Acrobatics. Acrobatics is, of course, going to be there to hit the fighting types that you're going to want to bring, and then Knockoff as well is going to hit the ghost types that you're going to want to bring. So we're going to talk about those, but for its status moves, I think we're going to see Noble Roar. Noble Roar being one of those moves that lowers the target's attack and special attack. We kind of saw it with Tearful Look on Inteleon, which basically does the same thing. Tearful Look and Noble Roar are honestly the same exact move. So I do think we're going to see Noble Roar on the Rillaboom, and it fits in with that Tera Normal and that sound trope there. So I definitely think we are going to see this move on Rillaboom as well. I do think we might see Woodhammer at one point in time. Maybe it might be a shield break move. And then for the boosting move, Rillaboom could honestly go a lot of ways here. It could go Swords Dance to get a +2 in attack. It can do a Bulk Up to get a +1 in attack and a +1 in defense. But what I think we're actually going to see is Growth. So Growth is going to give it a +1 in attack and special attack, which is going to help this Rillaboom here because it has a lower special attack, and it's kind of designed what we think it's going to have Boom Burst. So they're gonna want a way to boost its special attack, and I think Growth is the way to do that. Now, could we see Sunny Day, which will make Growth even faster and even stronger? I don't think so. What I think we might see is Grassy Terrain to get that Grassy Terrain back once it expires, because Grassy Terrain is only going to be around for 5 turns. And we might want to take advantage of that as well. And I'll talk about that in a bit. But we will either see Grassy Terrain or Sunny Day. I don't think Sunny Day is completely out of it, but I think for the 4 attacks that we're going to see, it's most definitely going to be Drum Beating, Boom Burst, Knockoff, and Acrobatics. And then for its secondary moves, it doesn't always have 4. It usually has like 1 or 2, but I do think Noble Roar will be one of them. And Growth, maybe Woodhammer, maybe Grassy Terrain. We'll see how it goes. But now let's talk about counters. So the first thing when it came to mind when I figured out that Rillaboom was probably going to have Boom Burst being Tera Normal was Zoroark, Hisuian Zoroark in particular. So Ghost Normal means that it's immune to ghost moves. It's immune to normal moves. So this could do really well here. The only bad thing is that its defensive stats are really bad. It's really not like a mon that you want to bring into a long-term battle. And I think that you would definitely have to really boost its defenses and its HP. But you could do this, and you can make up for most of it with Modest. How much is it? Let's go neutral. And then the Modest will basically put in more than the 64 will do. So you could probably do something like that. And with Zoroark, Really Nasty Plot would be the go-to here. I would have to say Dark Pulse would be the move to use because it's probably one of its strongest non-ghost type moves that would benefit off of a Nasty Plot, because you can't use ghost type moves against Rillaboom because it will be a normal type unless there's something a little more advantageous. What I think you can tack on here is Focus Blast. Now I know Focus Blast is like 70%, so it's not the best here, but I always want like a special attacker because the main strategy that I use is that acid spray move set. And if you want to slow down the Rillaboom just a little, like maybe tack on a Will-O-Wisp, you can only use that when the shield is up or when the shield is not up. But I do think it's still like a good move to have unless there's something just a little bit better. You could go Flamethrower and deal with the 10% chance to burn, because that 10% chance would be there even when the shield is up. Or maybe Hyper Voice would be better than Dark Pulse. 80. Yeah, probably the Hyper Voice. Yeah, I'd have to say for the last move, you could put on a Flamethrower, or you can go Wisp. I would have to say Flamethrower is better because you could get the chance to burn. But if you're clicking a move, it's probably going to be Hyper Voice. So for this, since there's no recovery, my go-to is always Shell Bell. But I will have to look at the calcs. I already started the damage spread chart. And Rillaboom's like main moves, like most of its grass moves are just weaker versions of like the moves you see here. So there's Branch Poke, there's Razor Leaf, all those moves. Why use that when there's Drum Beating or Wood Hammer? Other than that, like Rillaboom's move pool isn't that great. It does also get access to Hyper Voice, but I think if it's going to use anything, it's going to use Boom Burst. Do we get, does Zoroark get Boom Burst? No. And then there's a lot of fighting moves. So if we do see a fighting move like Low Sweep or Low Kick, Focus Blast or Hammer Arm, the ghost typing for Zoroark would be really good here. But the only thing you really have to worry about is that dark type knockoff. So I'll have to calc that to see how it goes. But knockoff doesn't remove the item in a Tera Raid battle, so it's not that big of a deal. It's just a super effective move that you can get hit by. The next one I thought about when I saw Rillaboom was to also take advantage, and I used it in a VGC battle on ladder. But Go-Goat has this ability called Grass Pelt, which multiplies the defense by 1.5. So you don't really have to invest as much into Go-Goat's defense to make it bulky, because it's going to have that Grass Pelt there. So once again, you can tack on recovery. So we could use Bulk Up. What other boosting moves does it have? Does it get Swords Dance? No. So I think Bulk Up would be the best boosting move for it. And then from here you go Horn Leech. You don't have to worry about Rillaboom like resisting it because it'll be normal type. And then for fighting type moves, you basically get Brick Break and Bulk Up. So you can go Brick Break here for the super effective damage. And then for the last one, so if you're using Go-Goat, you want to make sure that the grassy terrain stays up. So I would have to say you probably want grassy terrain on there as well. You don't necessarily, I would have to see how much Horn Leech is giving you back. But once again, Shell Bell, you could just really stack on the grassy terrain and go with a Miracle Seed. And then you can just do something like this. If it's got Drum Beating, it's going to be lowering your speed anyway. So I don't think speed is like that big of an issue. We can go Adamant here. and just put a little into the special defense for the boom burst and just put the rest. That's right at the bump. That's right at a bump. So that's good. I'll have to test it out. But I think Go-Go could be decent here, especially if it is taking advantage of the grassy terrain, kind of using Rillaboom's like hidden ability against it, which I think is really good here. And we would get more out of it because we would have the stab, the Horn Leech, and the recovery from both grassy terrain and Horn Leech. And then like a couple bulk ups in. The only thing I don't like about this is that I don't like physical attackers in raids. I prefer the special attackers because of the acid spray just being such a strong way to weaken Tera Raid Mon so quickly. The next thing I thought about was a soundproof Mon. But really the only soundproof Mons we're going to get are Abomasnow and Hisuian Electrode, which all of them I don't really think it's worth bringing. Yeah, they're really fast, but they don't really hit that hard, and I don't think they have a lot of setup. So we kind of scrapped that idea. The next one I thought about was Hawlucha. So what you could do with Hawlucha is that you can do Unburdened, which will give you a speed boost with no investment. You don't really have to worry about getting paralyzed or something like Mold Breaker, for example. So you can just go the Grassy Seeds and get a +1 in defense. It can be cleared off, but I don't think that's that big of a deal, especially if you get it in the early game. And so from here, if you're getting double speed, you're always going to outspeed the Rillaboom here. So you could do something like this. Maybe take a little bit out of physical attack to invest into the special defense. What I like to do sometimes. 252. And we'll just go there. So with the Grassy Seed, you can go Swords Dance. And then you can go Flying Press. And what Flying Press does is that it combines the effectiveness of Flying type. So it's a Flying type move and a Fighting type move at the same time. So you can hit Rillaboom super effective with the Fighting type. The only thing that's really bad about this is that you are, as a Flying Fighting, you are still weak to the Acrobatics that I'm pretty sure Rillaboom is probably going to have. And then you can go Acrobatics yourself. And then for recovery, you can just go Roost. That way you have a form of recovery, you have a form of boosting. If you want to keep that defense boost at the same time, you could go for Bulk Up over Swords Dance. But I think with Hawlucha is going to be a damage dealer. So that's something like you're going to want to be able to boost up your damage quickly. And then if you do get low, you can just recover with Roost. So I think it's just a personal choice. You could go Bulk Up over Swords Dance, but these are the first three. So we got 2 physical Mons, and that's basically all I'm going to go on the physical side besides this last one. And it's going to be Tauros. Blaze Tauros. So you get the Intimidate, so Rillaboom will start off at a -1. You can do something, once again, Shell Bell. If you're dealing lots of damage, Shell Bell never hurts. Then I don't think Tauros has that much. So in this case, Raging Bull is going to be a fire type move. So you're not going to benefit from the fighting type unless you go just normal Paldean Tauros, which I think could still be a good bring here. But I like the fire typing because it also adds an extra resistance to the drum beating. So at this point, you have the Bulk Up. You technically don't have a fighting type move yet. So you could go Terra Blast here with the Terra Fighting to help deal with the Rillaboom. But you could also, if you're getting a lot of Bulk Ups in, you could also go Body Press The only thing is you do definitely want to invest a little into Paldean Tauros's special defense. If it's using Boom Burst, it's going to resist it, but you still don't want to take like a lot from it. And then you could go Adamant. I could see Careful like helping as well. That brings it as a pretty like balanced Mon. Let's see, is there a bump? The bump's right there. And invest more into bulk. So these are my 3 physical Mons. I think Gogoat, Alucha, and Tauros might be able to do well. But like I said before, like I'm not always a fan of the physical Mons. I prefer the special because of the acid spray setup. So we got our special attacker. We need our acid spray Mon. And I think you can go with one of 2 options. You know, my Clodsire is always true and tested. So for this one, I think like you don't need Water Absorb. You can go Poison Point for the chance of getting a poison off. Unaware isn't going to do anything because you're not going to be really boosting with this. Leftovers for solid recovery. Chilling Water to lower attack. Acid Spray to lower the special defense. I'd have to say either Earth Power or Sludge Bomb. Actually, with this Clodsire, if you really wanted to, you could go Sludge Wave because you don't need the higher poison chance because you have Poison Point. So Sludge Wave would be the higher one here. And then just Recovery. You can actually invest a decent amount into it because like Clodsire already has such a high like base HP. The only thing is that you're going to be weak to a ground move. So if it does have something like Bulldoze or Stomping Tantrum, you're going to take a decent amount of damage from it. Granted, Bulldoze is going to be weakened by the grassy terrain. And just do something like that. Or you can invest into the special attack. It really doesn't matter. I think you have lots of recovery. So you can't, and you're like, the Clodsire isn't there to deal damage. It's to keep Rillaboom at bay and to lower the special defense. The last one I could really think of is Goodra. So with Goodra, I think that either one would be really good. But I think if you're going to go for the best one here, you're going to want to go for the Hisuian Goodra because it has a higher physical defense with the loss of speed. And speed really doesn't matter here. So Steel Dragon, you get the Sap Sipper. So Drum Beating isn't going to do anything. You can do, if you really wanted to try, you could do the Shelter or you could do the Acid Armor Body Press if you really wanted to. But usually the way that I use Goodra in situations like this is to take advantage of the Acid Spray. So we want Acid Spray. You can do Chilling Water as well. Honestly, yeah, you don't need Clodsire. Because besides getting Stab on the Acid Spray, like Goodra, Hisuian Goodra just does everything better. I want to say if you don't have Pokemon Home or if you don't have access to a Hisuian Goodra, you can go the Clodsire. But I think if you do like Hisuian Goodra the same way, you're absolutely fine. Granted, like your HP isn't as high, but like your defenses are so high that you shouldn't be worried about it. Like, if we invest this much into defenses, we have the same defenses as Clodsire. And then you can just do this. You can go Modest here. And just honestly put the rest in HP. And if you want to, you can still, with the Acid Spray and Chilling Water, you can still go Shelter or Acid Armor and have that body press option, but then you're not taking advantage of the acid spray that you get. So I would say just find, and Goodra's got a great move pool. Find a move that you can use. Does it get Flash Cannon? It does get Flash Cannon. So you can get Stab off of that. And then you can go Life Dew with extra recovery. But yeah, I think this one's going to be pretty easy, even for the physical mons. I know a lot of people are saying, like, Iron Hands is going to be good. Like, of course, Iron Hands is going to be good. You just do, like, the Citrus Berry. Belly Drum. Drain Punch. You don't really need anything after that. Maybe Swords Dance if you really wanted to. Yeah, you really don't need anything after Belly Drum. Like, once you get the Belly Drum off, you get the Citrus Berry, you get the Drain Punch off, you start getting recoveries. When Rillaboom wipes your stats, you just start clicking Swords Dance instead and just clicking Drain Punch here. But you can just do something like that with Iron Hands. A lot of people are saying Annihilate. Annihilate could be pretty good here, especially with Defiant and Drum Beating. Like, if it clicks Drum Beating to drop your stats, you're going to get a +1. Bulk Up. Rage Fist. Drain Punch. You don't need anything else after that. You can go Taunt on Annihilate if you really wanted to. The only thing I'd worry about with Annihilate is, like, the acrobatics. But a lot of these physical attackers are going to have problems with the acrobatics. Like, Go-Goat is not going to like the acrobatics. Hawlucha is not going to like the acrobatics. Tauros, all these fighting types, all these physical mons are not going to like the acrobatics. But I don't think it will be that big of a deal because a lot of these, especially these last two here, are pretty bulky. And you have access to a very strong Drain Punch. With these mons up front, you don't have as easy as recovery. Go-Goat does have Horn Leech. Hawlucha does have Roost. But Roost takes a turn. So I don't know about that. I do think Iron Hands and Annihilate will be pretty easy picks as well. But most people already have these set up. I like to try to bring new mons besides Clodsire. I bring Clodsire to everyone. But that's going to be it. I'm going to start throwing these guys into the damage calcs, and I will show you my findings tomorrow. That's going to be all, though. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you excited for Rillaboom? Are you kind of over the 7-star Tera raids? Because I feel like a lot of people on Twitter just don't care anymore, which is kind of a bummer because these are always fun to do. But either way, let me know what you're bringing in the comments down below. And until next time, I'm Zach, and we'll see everyone later.